its network of gainfully unemployed. Support by unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds. Who the hell am I?
Velmi
I'm a construction broker.
Oh, pal.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
Delta.
Detective John Kimball. Who is your daddy? Answer the question. And what does he do? Put that cookie down! Now!
Welcome to a brand new episode of Into the Mr. Universe! Exactly. This is a podcast where we're jumping through all the Schwarzenegger universes and talking about how is he different in this vast multiverse of Schwarzenegger. Multiverses are in right now.
They're so hot right now. They're so hot.
Yeah.
We are quantum leaping through all of the Arnold verses.
We are. And we're going to talk about the plot of the movie and how his performance does and other performances. We're going to have a great time. This is brought to you by our producer, Norm from Cheers.
Norm!
That's right, that's the Norm from Cheers.
Norm, George Wendt is sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah, we'll put it on our resumes. Thank you, Norm from Cheers. We appreciate you. We appreciate this premise because it's enabling us to watch Schwarzenegger films.
Which,
And, like-
say it, every episode we say this, but like this is a show we would have conceivably done on our own. So it's
Yeah,
like perfect. It's perfect.
There isn't a single film that I sit down and go, okay.
Right,
Screw
because
this.
yeah, you sit down, it's like, ooh, this one is next.
Yeah, exactly. Every single one's a delight.
Arnold had a
And
fucking
we're-
incredible decade in the 1980s. It's all,
Yeah.
just period.
But yeah, that's true. Maybe when we hit like Expendables, there'll be some ones
But it's like from Eraser on, like I still love Eraser, so okay, let me
Yeah.
amend that. From the sixth day on, it's gonna get kind of rough for a while. But yeah,
It'll be fine. But right now, enjoy it.
we'll dive across that exploding bridge when we have to.
For now, we're up to 1988. Twins, directed by Ivan Reitman.
Sure is.
Tom, when was the last time you saw Twins?
I watched half of Twins 2 years ago.
Okay. I hadn't seen it since I was a child.
Yeah, but before that, it has been since probably the 80s.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the hardest ones to remember because I have these like vague, like dreamlike memories of Twins. And I know now why, because this movie is fucking batshit, and the plot is nothing you'd expect it to be. This is, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a genetically enhanced Superman who rowboats to L.A. and his twin brother.
He rowboats to the airport to get to LA.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It looks like he flies the plane. He listens to Yucky Yak. Don't talk back.
We'll get into that. And then a bunch of things happen that isn't really related to that starting premise.
There was a period in the late 80s, like the last 4 years of the 1980s, where comedy premises were just crime thrillers with jokes.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Which I'm not against.
I know, I'm not against that either, but it was so weirdly common in the 80s specifically. And this is one of them.
Yeah, and I would imagine if I was thinking of that trope and I saw this, I'd be pissed. Because this promises to not be. It's like, oh, it's like a family thing. Or like these two guys and they're trying to get along. And then it's no crime thriller. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
man?
there's like a crime thriller subplot. Very strange.
Yeah. I have a few facts about this that I looked up. And we don't normally do this, but so for starters, during production, the title was briefly changed to Brothers to avoid confusion with another movie that at the time was called Twins. It's called Twins.
Major League.
That's the book it was based off of. Tom, a 1988
No.
movie called Twins.
Doesn't
Can you
make any
guess what that
sense.
was?
They play the twins. They play
I'll tell you.
the twins.
That movie
Yeah,
was
tell me.
changed to Dead Ringers.
Of course.
Of course. So, like, this has confusion with Dead Ringers, David Cronenberg's film. Very different film. This was also originally titled...
And in many ways, the same film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was also originally titled The Experiment. But then that name, according to the trivia, the name was dropped because of Arnold Schwarzenegger's German background.
Which is funny because this movie begins and is built on the premise of full-blown Nazi eugenics.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's
one
we're
final-
okay, I'm sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no. Okay. Well, one final piece of trivia that you'll be very interested in, and I can't confirm this one. I've seen it in multiple sites, and they say it's according to, like, interviews. But apparently, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito were given the option to do Suburban Commando instead of Twins. And had they chose that, Twins would have gone to Hulk Hogan.
Oh god.
I don't know what to make of that.
I'm not sure if that, because the years don't add up.
Right.
Suburban
I don't
Commando
know.
didn't come out until 1991.
Right. Well, that's a more complicated film to shoot, Tom. So it probably
That's true, a lot of moving parts in Suburban
Yeah, I don't know about that one. It shows up on multiple websites about this movie, but sometimes the internet has that weird trivia cycle where they're all
It's-
taking from each other and no one actually has confirmed it.
There's the internet is telephone. People are aware of this, but it's a fact will appear unsourced somewhere, and then other sites will just repeat that fact, so that it becomes
Right.
that it becomes a fact. Because and it's just a bunch of places referencing each other and nobody with a primary source. Very common problem in internet media.
But I want to.
Sure,
what are you going to say about the Nazi stuff? Because
Okay, so
this movie is vaguely Nazi.
Not even vaguely. The movie begins with narration from a fucking German doctor.
You're right.
Talking about how it begins with a thick-ass German accent explaining to us this experiment to create the perfect human by combining the genetics of 6 of the most pristine genetic examples of human beings in the world, these men who are physicists, who are athletes, brilliant poets, expert strategists in eugenics. And it's all being explained to us by a guy with a thick German accent. And the product of this eugenics is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's fucking wild. They're like, okay, for this one, we want to do a buddy comedy with one of them is a Nazi Superman, and the other is Danny DeVito. Yeah, immediately I'm hit. Where it's locked now.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
so
come on.
elaborate, and there's so much front loading
Oh.
of information.
It's dizzy.
And then the Nazi Superman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, they also make him perfect. They're like, the Nazis made the perfect man, and he was. He was great.
He's just perfect. He's a perfect man.
Yeah, he's perfect.
Yeah.
There's no pushback on that idea.
They never say Nazi or eugenics, but
Yeah, but
and then later in the film, Danny DeVito very pointedly keeps repeating Brazil to Arnold.
yeah,
It's I could have been halfway to Brazil, and he gives him this meaningful look, and then he says it again a scene later. So they're
what the fuck are you doing, Ivan, right now?
I don't know. They're winking about some Nazi shit.
Yeah.
Weird way to begin your movie.
Yeah.
This movie is tying in.
This is the thing. In comedies at this time, you watch Back to the Future, you watch Ghostbusters, there's always these things where you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Then it's just flipped in. It's interesting.
I mean-
it's not even about quote unquote this or you can't say things anymore. It's more of this is a decision that's just what a weird decision.
It's just weird. Yeah, it's there's so many weird things in this movie, and the plot is so meandering and keeps introducing new ideas that are not simple ideas.
Yeah, this is a movie that I think they made a million movies like this because they remember. What's that one with the woman with straight luck that we watched? Do you remember that?
Oh God.
And then they get the guy who
Pure
has
Luck.
weird luck. Pure luck.
Yeah. Danny Glover and Mark Short.
Yes. So I would compare this to that because when you look at Pure Luck, the problem with Pure Luck is I love Danny Glover and Martin Short, but they aren't carrying the film enough.
No.
And the premise is fucking out of its mind that you're like, wait, what? So it's so out of its mind that it's not even memorable that it's where I had struggled to remember it. This movie lives and dies by the fact that the stars are carrying. I would
That's the only. You had mentioned earlier that you had like vague dreamlike memories of this movie. Before I rewatched it recently and then rewatched it for this podcast, the only memory I had of this film is its poster.
Right. I remembered the Sylvester Stallone part. I remembered little moments. I remember this weird retro futurist look to the island.
The island, yeah.
Which I now realize was not retro at the time. But
He just
I remember the ending vaguely. I was like, I remember this brutalist factory that they were running through. And again, it's like the most unhinged memories. So you're like, that's surely that kid.
Yeah, obviously that's not the film. It's like when you look at the poster for Turner and Hooch, and then you explain to somebody what Turner and Hooch is about. You're like, wait, what? Like every comedy was, every comedy was not every comedy, but like a lot of comedies were like this.
Yeah,
it begins on a weird Bond film in Ireland.
Yeah,
with a Nazi Ubermensch.
This isn't what we're describing isn't bad.
No.
I would say more comedy should be here.
Yeah.
It's just during this time they were all like this, so yeah, it's hard to keep on.
And there's so many weird, that premise should have been it. The movie begins with, on his 35th birthday, his fucking Nazi doctor dad tells Arnold, his name is Julius, that he has a twin brother who lives in Los Angeles. They separated them at birth because, Danny DeVito, whose name is Vincent, was a surprise. So they sent him to Los Angeles, and Julius gets really excited. He's like, it's finally time for me to leave the island. So he leaves the island, and we get a couple of cute scenes of where, he's been raised by just old doctors, and everything he knows about the world is stuff he's experienced secondhand. So it's a fish out of water story. And then they have this mismatched buddy cop dynamic, because obviously Danny DeVito and Arnold, the differences between them are visual, immediate. And then they have, we see Danny DeVito as this kind of grifter character, and Julius is very earnest and honest and upright and very childlike in a lot of ways. They're like, oh, this is going to be fun. So that's enough. That's a movie right there. That's the premise. But they had
Danny DeVito constantly correcting on the Schwarzenegger stuff. You think that'd be in there? I need to stop on the island because it does imply that the Nazi scientist created this Superman, and then was just hung around and didn't know what to do with him, and then just said, yeah, you can leave.
There's no end game. Yeah, it's unclear what the purpose of this was.
Well, it feels like they were doing Nazi stuff, and then suddenly they're like, okay, we got to keep it real on the TL, the Nazi stuff. To the point that they clearly didn't teach Arnold any Nazi stuff because he's such a nice, pure soul. So it's retired not. It's weird because it doesn't. Again, it's Nazi Superman, but it's not saying, and this is bad.
Right, it's they just
it's fine.
They just created him, and he lives on this weird island utopia with these doctors, and just because they never identify a reason for why they did this.
Yeah, the doctors are just you can leave. That was always an option.
Right, yeah, he's just living there. That's it.
Yeah. But so that
he's almost middle aged. Right.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
What was the goal here?
I don't know. I really feel like it's one of those things where the program was shut down and then they're like, well, we're just gonna live here. I don't want to go anywhere else. It's like the TNG episode where Quark finds out that his dad might be a prisoner, Romulan. He has notes there, and it turns out that it's a prison camp that after the war, nobody wanted to go home, and they all just hang out. It's that, where it feels like the experiment is over, and then they're like, what do we do? Well, we can kill him and burn everything, or you know what, this island's pretty sweet, so let's all just live here.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Shows a bunch of geodesic domes on the island.
Yeah. But that could have been it could have been Crocodile Dundee, It could have been Danny DeVito teaching him the way, and then we learned that Danny DeVito is a scumbag. Through. He's a real great.
I said that aloud. In the scene where it's a funny scene. It's a good gag.
Yeah.
Where it begins with him getting thrown out of a store on Hollywood Boulevard with this giant cardboard box. And he's like, yeah, he says something to the effect of, what do you mean? Are you trying to lowball me? Yeah, these are quality socks.
Yeah.
So I said aloud to the empty room, oh, it's just Frank Reynolds.
It is. It really is. Because he's just a grifter. And he just, like every parking ticket he gets a lot. He drops it on the ground. Like, he's amazing. What I love about him is that he's like, they allude to this later, is that, like, he's not just a grifter, he's bad at it. So, like, he's just his own worst enemy, is the idea. Like, he's just constantly, like, it's just like, pay the parking tickets, man. And instead he has to get arrested because he didn't pay any parking. Little things like that, and then he doesn't learn from his mistakes. He's just a bad grifter. Tom, he fucks.
He does fuck. Women cannot get it done in this universe. And
I love this era of Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito.
With his
He
ponytail.
fucks.
Yeah, he does. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't disbelieve it. Like, I'm like, sure.
No. He chows down on the puss.
Yeah, man.
That's what he does.
He's breaking backs all across Los Angeles.
Absolutely. He's just like women.
He is.
Yeah. And so the idea is, he gets arrested because of his getting parking tickets. Schwarzenegger bails it out, and then at first it's like another grip where he's trying to get money in connection with Schwarzenegger.
Right, and of course,
then
he also, of course, doesn't believe that Arnold is really his brother. He's like, yeah, sure.
Right.
I'll just ride this for as long as I can grip you. Yeah.
Right, and so then we learn that he's a car thief along with being a grifter. And this is where the movie just adds another movie. He steals a car that was specifically left in a garage by criminals. And David Caruso, the parking garage attendant who works for Danny DeVito, calls him. He's like, I got another good one. And Danny DeVito steals the car that turns out that it has something extremely valuable in the back, and a hitman starts chasing him. And he also takes the identity of the driver, the hitman,
who is
to deliver this thing. It's
Quado.
Yeah.
And the military guy that Mulder really wanted to be friends with.
Yeah.
Quality Angel.
Yeah. What we're gonna learn is that the thing is a truck with a new military style like engine.
It's like a fuel injection engine or something.
Yeah.
It's like another layer.
Gold. What are we doing?
Well, they did. Like, when he opens it and it's like this weird, complicated device. Like the first thing I thought was like, oh, it's a nuke.
Right.
But I mean, it could have been anything. That's not the point. But it's just
why make it complicated?
right. Yeah, adding another layer of how it's like this new, exciting, clean energy technology. It's like this whole other layer.
So fucking weird. And so this is an entirely different movie all of a sudden. And then another movie creeps in where Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, we should track down our mother and do a road trip. That's another movie. Just a road trip. And Danny DeVito's like, okay, because it's on the same path as this fucking car thing.
Right. He's drunk. He has to deliver the car to some guy named, what was his name? Beetroot? Mr. Beetroot. He's got to deliver the car to Mr. Beetroot in Houston, and their mom is apparently in Santa Fe.
Yeah. So now it becomes like a double road trip. Their respective girlfriends join because Arnold Schwarzenegger has already found a lady because he's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
It's basically the first woman he runs into.
Yeah, this 1988 Arnold Schwarzenegger. So.
Yeah.
That's like a whole other thing. There's like a romantic comedy between Danny DeVito and his girlfriend, who is Chloe Webb, Nancy from Sid and Nancy.
Yeah.
And her sister, who is Kelly Preston.
Yeah. It's fucking. It's just like I can't handle all this. This is too much movie.
There's so much movie. So many movies contained within this movie.
It really. It's like eating 6 ramen packets at once.
Yeah.
It's just overwhelming and disorienting. And so that's fucking Christ. That's the other part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the while, by the way, there's like Randy Newman ass music in this whole movie too. It's just like John's piano.
Yeah. Standard
so
80s
like,
comedy music. Like even as like fucking Quado is like shooting his way through Los Angeles. It's still like this Randy Newman ass
Yeah.
tickling the ivory between each scene.
This movie is out of fucking control.
Unhinged.
It really is. And then
There's another plot. There's another plot where these mobsters who are all brothers and cousins.
Oh my God.
There's like one mobster
Run,
who
Joe,
looks
stand
like
back.
the mobster from the first season of Barry, but I don't think it is. It's because the timing was bad. I'd be way too
Right.
Barry. But like there's like a running gag with this mobster that all of his leg breakers are different brothers of his, and they're all like these kind of like big blocks, like big blocks of men.
And it starts with them being like, "Where's my money?" So it's like, "Oh, this is
Yeah,
the villain."
but no, unrelated villain. They're loan sharks and Danny Vito owes the money. Arnold beats up one of them when they come to collect, and then they keep coming back. There's like a scene where two more of them come back. There's a scene where they like show up at a club where they're dancing and hold the two women hostage, and Arnold beats the shit out of them at this club. There's a scene where they run afoul of Quado, and Quado shoots two of them. There's like a whole other set of villains in this movie.
Yeah. And so they just deal with those on the side. They drive down. They go to the mom's compound. They realize she's like stupid rich, but then the woman in the compound is like, no, she died.
Yeah.
They reveal very quickly, no, that's the mom. And she just doesn't believe that they're her son.
Yeah.
Because the mom was
Why would
lied
she?
to and told like her kid died. She wasn't told it was twins.
Yeah, which is
It's Nazis.
another layer that's like never explained. So they were both told, both Danny DeVito and Arnold were told that their mother died during childbirth. Danny DeVito found out that when he was like 5, in the orphanage he grew up in, that his mom was actually alive in Los Angeles, and he just never went to see her because he was told that she abandoned him. But then she was told that she gave birth to one kid and that kid died. So it's like the Nazis are telling 3 different lies to these people. For what purpose? Like, what was the point of this experiment?
Nazis, you think they just killed her?
Right. By the way, in the introductory montage where we have the German Nazi scientist explaining all this to us, her mom is Heather Graham. Notice that?
Yes.
It's like Heather Graham's first movie.
So fucking weird.
Young mom is played by Heather Graham.
So they're on this road trip. By the way, the prize Danny DeVito is being offered $5 million. That's what the hit is. And then,
Don't not get murdered.
no, yeah, he's been murdered plenty.
There's so many murders in this film.
We're talking about this before. David Caruso gets captured by the hitman, kills everybody, and so we don't see him die, but I'm pretty sure he dies.
Pretty sure David Caruso is killed.
Yeah. And then, Jesus Christ. So there's that brief moment where they think they're going to run. And that's like the low point. Danny DeVito pitches them all at the side of the room.
Yep.
And then his girlfriend is like, because he's keeping all the information Arnold. And so the girlfriend, because he's too innocent, the girlfriend explains it. And he goes, using his psychic twin powers, which is just introduced at the end. You remember the psychic twin powers?
They hint at it throughout the film, but it's in like funny, inconsequential ways. Like they'll reach for their
He named his cat.
they name his cat Julia, and they'll reach for their glasses during dinner the same way, and they like wash their hands the same way. It's been stuff like that, and then all of a sudden they can read each other's thoughts at the end of the film.
What else is in this film? And Arnold Schwarzenegger uses his mind-breaking powers to track down Danny DeVito, who it turns out that the criminals who want the engine are like, well, we don't care who delivers it. Here's your $5
I love
million.
you.
And then he's trying to kill Danny DeVito. And he hunts up in brother, and he's just like, ah, fuck. And they like, for a second, everybody just stops fighting. He's just like, okay, here's your money. And he's just mad at Schwarzenegger, and he's like, you win. And then Quattro is like, well, I'm still gonna kill you. So they drop the longest chain in the world on him.
It's very funny.
Very funny.
It just keeps falling. Like they pull a lever and this little chain drop and hits him in the head and knocks him out. And then the chain just, it's like 500 yards of chain falls on him.
So I do want to talk about the humor of this movie because it's very grounded. It's very of its time.
Yeah.
Which is like, this used to be what humor was. Which is him like, telling him about nuked food. You know? And Arnold Schwarzenegger just being like, aw, shucks, cute.
Just dazzled by microwave eggplant parmesan. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all very like human. It's like there's nothing like outrageous about it. It's not like it's not over the top. And then this one moment happens that's ridiculous. And it's like it's fun. It's like interesting because it's like a slow burn comedy.
Yeah, it just yeah.
And then at the end, they give back. There's this whole subplot where they meet with the Nazi scientists who are going to say it's all like, and Danny DeVito all the bad things, and like there's lots of afterbirth evil.
Yeah.
And so there's an element of like Schwarzenegger making it good. They return the money. They start their own business. They settle it for real. Arnold Schwarzenegger says, "I'm going to return that $4 million."
Yeah.
So we realize, oh, Danny DeVito $6 million.
He stole it, of course.
And then they go to the carousel for face-off.
They sure do. Well, their mom shows up first, and they.
Right.
Yeah, their mom shows up and is like, "Sorry, I lied. I thought you and then the happy reunion. They go to the face-off carousel where they each have sets of twins with their respective squeezes.
Yeah, and then they will find out that Eddie Murphy is twins.
Apparently, yeah.
I mean, find out.
Sure.
Maybe you are. It's already up there. I don't know. It clicked in me. So this is a story starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as a relentless superhero. Like he's superhuman.
Yes.
Muscle guy who's never been to civilization, coming to civilization, meeting a weird tiny drifter, and proceeding to beat a bunch of people up while maintaining like an innocence. What does that sound like?
I don't know. The Iron Giant.
It sounds like Hercules in New York.
Oh, it is. It does. Yeah.
This is Hercules in New York.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just they did a better version.
Yeah, Arnold is much more adorable and charismatic in this film. Like this movie.
Yeah, he's not an asshole.
He's not
Hercules
a dickhead.
is an asshole.
Yeah, Hercules is a real prick.
My God.
Yeah. So should we move on to the technically
Yeah,
not Arnold?
technically not Arnold.
This is interesting because this movie, as we've said, is out of its gourd. And as such, it's kind of forgettable as a film. But like, I think this performance is like one of the most important performances of Arnold's career at this point.
So, a little trivia here, because this is from an interview with Schwarzenegger. This was, of course, his first time in a comedy.
Yes.
You don't count Hercules.
You don't count Hercules, yeah.
It's his first comedy. The studio saw it as a significant risk because they were like, we'd rather have you do an action film. So Schwarzenegger took zero salary in exchange for a share in the film's profits. Danny DeVito and Ivan Reitman made similar deals. I think just again because the studio was like, we're not sure about this. They made a shit ton of money thanks to that decision. In an interview, Schwarzenegger said it was the decision to invest in himself, and he thought it was one of the best decisions of his entire life. And I think he's right. This is an extremely important role for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It really demonstrates what he can do. Like,
no one believed he could do it.
He's so good in this movie. I mean, they both are. Obviously, Danny DeVito is going to kill it in anything.
Yeah, but Danny DeVito is, he's Danny DeVito. Schwarzenegger is like, he's put himself out there.
Yeah, he's like so fucking cute in this movie.
Yeah.
He's just an adorable man, and he's so good at playing it. Like, he's so earnest, believably so. Like, he's in on the joke. He knows how to play this character. It's like we're talking about the Commando episode where he seemed to already be aware of how to use his image in a way to do sort of. He already was aware of how to play with his image, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, you could argue, like, yeah, he owes a lot of his career to Ivan Reitman for believing in him and so on.
Yeah.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger knew what to do. Like, my thoughts on this film is that a lot of the humor feels like it was baked in by Ivan Reitman in case Schwarzenegger can't do the performance.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is it's mostly situational.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, listen to him singing the acting. Like, it doesn't matter how you perform it, that's going to be funny. Or like, Gentle Giant, oh, he goes to LA, he immediately gets ice cream and a hot tub and pizza and a taco and soda. Like, that's not like a performance, that's like the writing. But then Schwarzenegger performed it beautifully.
Yeah.
So it just makes it even better.
And so, like, from this point on, like, the kinds of movies he does start to open up a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, Schwarzenegger had said in interviews that after this movie, people started sending him comedies.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a bunch. And
Like-
and that's, yeah.
This is, I think, like next to the Terminator, this is like the most important movie in his career, right?
Yeah. I would liken this to like John Cena today, right?
Yeah,
Where you're like, oh, you can be funny. Okay. Changes your career.
And they're not just funny, like Peacemaker for John Cena. You're like, oh, you're like funny, but you can also carry a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this is like.
This is no different because
Yeah.
we're not relying on action. And in fact, the action is bad.
It's just it's pro wrestling. Like he'll grab a guy and throw him, and it's like, oh, he's so strong, and that's it. Like that's all it needs to be.
It is a comedy at heart, and
Yeah.
so, like, when he delivers lines that genuinely made me laugh, I did nothing. The pavement was his enemy.
Yeah, the pavement.
That's such a good line. Also, the fact that when he meets his brother, one of the first things he says is, now we can go to museums together.
Yeah.
And it's just, he's so naive and happy-go-lucky, and then the performances are so fucking good.
When he buys him the T-shirt that says "Born to Be Bad," and Arnold is so fucking delighted by it.
He's so cute. When he says, I've only been driving an hour, and he's all proud of himself.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He plays it so adorable.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to be not tough. And that's the idea in this, is that he's a pacifist.
Yeah.
And he's so... It really is unlike anything he's done.
Yeah.
It's closest to Hercules in New York, but that movie obviously is not this.
Yeah. This is...
He's also blonde.
Yeah. I mean, he normally is, I think.
No, he dyed his hair.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this character, in terms of technically not Arnold, is pretty significant. Yeah, like this is like very identifiably different from a lot of the characters he's played up to this point. Yeah, this is this is one of my favorite Arnold performances.
It really is. The movie is fine.
The movie's fine, but he's fucking great in this movie.
And it really can't be understated that this is a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Like this is Back to the Future, like punching Biff, where it's like this will change his life. This movie.
Yeah.
This decision, it makes sense why he says, I consider this the best decision of my career. Because it absolutely, he would have had a completely different career.
Yeah, you can look at his filmography and just before this movie and then after this movie, and it becomes, like, we've already talked about how his filmography before this was really interesting and unique because it's really not as many straightforward action movies as you might think. It's a lot of weird shit. And then from this point on, it opens up even more into like more comedies. He does,
It almost gets more normal after this because suddenly the mainstream is like, oh, welcome.
Right, like he suddenly becomes more of like a Denzel Washington or somebody who's not pigeonholed into any particular genre. Even though obviously action is still his bread and butter for many more years after this, but like he's able to do a lot of other things, and it was like this movie that sort of demonstrates that he can do that.
Right, and how this is probably Ivan Reitman as well, but you could have fucked this up. Like
sure.
if they made him like a very serious guy, like the straight man to Danny DeVito, you could see that instinct, right? It's like, oh, he's an action star, let's make him serious, tough. And they didn't. They made him like this big fake, and it's great.
Right, so that's a really important decision too, I think, is that between the two of them, DeVito and Schwarzenegger, there isn't really a straight man. Look, DeVito's kind
I would
of,
argue DeVito is a straight man.
he is more of, but he's still not exactly. Like, he's still like the wacky, like you could see them doing a version.
He's a little grumpy.
Yeah.
Somebody, yeah.
You could very easily see them doing a version of this movie where he's just, where it's more like released in New York, like you were saying earlier, where he is still, DeVito's still the same character, but he's really relying on having this, like, well, I've got this huge bodyguard now, so I can get away with more, and Arnold just kind of being like this stiff Terminator type lump, you know.
Right,
but
and I do think
yeah.
that's on Ivan Reitman for letting Arnold Schwarzenegger do his thing, for taking that risk on it, you know?
Yeah.
I assume there were screen tests and stuff. Like, I saw a tribute about that where they were talking about how they were really scared about this movie. And then the moment they were watching dailies and everybody in the room was laughing, they were like, oh, okay. We got a comedy. It's a comedy, you know? And of course, some of the comedy is dated, because a lot of the comedy hinges on, he's a big guy, he's a little guy.
Not as much of it as I would have expected, but yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the comedy comes from Arnold being a little goof. Like he's dressed like a kid who just took things out of his dad's closet. Like he shows up in LA in a blazer and shorts and then socks with sandals, I think.
Yeah, he looks like a jackass.
He looks like a fucking idiot. But it's so great.
Right. You want to talk about
Definitely not Arnold? Sure.
Arnold, yeah, these are the best side characters. Obviously, Vincent.
Yeah, obviously Danny DeVito, yeah.
He fucked so hard that he fucked a nun as a kid.
He did. That's another weird wrinkle that we didn't address earlier.
The nun fucking.
Is that there's this barely mentioned, there are 2 lines about this, but he got kicked out of the orphanage because he fucked a nun when he was 12, which really means the nun, an adult woman, fucked a 12-year-old boy.
He got raped by a nun.
He got raped by a nun, so the nun left the order and he got kicked out of the orphanage. So there is 2 sentences in this film devoted to this subplot.
Right, because this is the 80s, they're like, he fucked the nun.
Yeah.
Because he's so cool.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I disagree.
I disagree with that interpretation of the
I
events.
think Danny DeVito is suffering from some trauma. And it's shaped the way
there's like piles and piles of trauma that they just sort of, which some of it's handled well in a subtle way because we sort of get, we understand as the movie progresses and we learn more about what his understanding of his situation is. Like, oh, he's bitter. He thinks the world didn't want him. He thinks the world discarded him, so that's why he's the way he is.
Right. And what we learn is that he's kind of right.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, is the idea is, like, Schwarzenegger has this magical view of our mother and stuff, and Danny DeVito's character is like, that's what all the orphans think. You were just thrown away. You were inconvenienced. And then he's like a shitty guy. And then there's a part where he's faced with this scientist being like, yeah, we didn't want you. You were all the bad parts of our experiment. You are destined to be a piece of shit. And like it's actually fairly complex as a character because it's Danny DeVito basically saying like, no, like he has to face the idea of like, no, I'm not a piece of shit. I can hold this baby.
Yeah.
I used to be a piece of shit. Yeah. No, that is kind of the ending.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's so weird that they just throw that away with 2 lines.
Yeah, the nun fucking is unnecessary.
It's so strange. Like, we didn't need that development.
Yeah. I love. Yeah.
Who's that character?
Yeah, and he's doing great. He has like a fancy crime building that he like his office is in. Mm-hmm. It's really funny to me. He's like high end scumbag. I couldn't tell, but yeah, he's obviously a character, and Danny DeVito he's Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
he's great.
Yeah, always
Happy Gilmore's mom shows up as the nun.
Yeah, not the nun, but she's like...
Yeah, not the fuck nun.
I think she's like the nun in charge of the orphanage.
The sister wants a hog and bakes some cookies.
Yep, Kelly Preston. Fucking Quado.
Quado, of course.
He's like a weirdly folksy murderer. It's very funny.
I wrote folksy assassin.
Yeah.
And Arnold must have saw this film and he's like, I got a great role for you. I don't know how it works out, but
yeah, me
he's
either.
immediately in Total Recall after this. Yeah, he's fucking terrifying as always.
Yeah.
He's doing great. And it's from that area. It reminds me of the villain in Cuffs, where they're like, have a quirk, be quirky.
Yeah.
In some way. And so he's just like weird and quirky bad guy.
Yeah.
We have the Hawaiian shirt bad guy.
Yeah.
I learned later why they're in Hawaiian shirts, but at the time I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
They're just two nerds stealing technology and wearing Hawaiian shirts to trick David Caruso.
Yeah, Al.
Thinking they're tourists. And yes, we must talk
When
about David Caruso.
Yeah, when I saw Al, I was like, surely that's not David Caruso, right? Why would that be David Caruso? Googled it like, oh, all David
It is absolutely David Caruso.
Yeah. Another side character is the thug and the brother who tries to attack him with a fire axe. I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger is getting the best of it.
He's getting his ass beat by a man in cargo shorts. So
Yeah.
go for the fire axe.
Yeah. Shout out to when Schwarzenegger puts his car on two wheels and turns into a different person.
Oh yeah, it's just visibly a different person.
Yeah. Another side character I want to point out is that scientist who sees Danny DeVito and this big guy come in and tells them that he's like afterbirth shit. And it's like, why would you do that in this moment?
Right,
You
after...
just kick down your door.
Exactly. Like, after they initially go in, and they've been warned ahead of time that this guy is a dickhead.
Yeah.
And Arnold has a fun moment where it's like, I don't know what that means, but I think I do. So they go into his office, and he's like, you're going to tell me about our mother? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, get out of here. And then in the hallway, he's like, he's lying! Like, he actually gets mad the first time. And he goes back and kicks the door so hard that it flies off of its hinges forward into the room like a cannonball, and then storms in there and rips out this photo. It's like, that's you in this photo. You know who our mother is. So, like, that interaction has already occurred when he's down in his secret Nazi basement telling him, you're the shitty afterbird. You know, maybe he's gonna front kick you and you front kick that door. I don't know.
Yeah.
Chill out, maybe. But then again, we know that his defining characteristic is he's a dickhead.
He's a dickhead.
He comes back later in the movie to get punched in the face by their mom.
Hey, I gotta go. Thanks for watching.
The final background character I have is that entire bar of people who cheer after three guys get wasted and they have no context for it. It's my favorite thing that happens in movies of this era, which is like someone gets their ass kicked, a crowd of strangers goes, yay!
Yeah, people just really jazzed to witness a fight in public.
Yeah, there's like the violence.